Hello and welcome back to the course on artificial intelligence. Today we're going to discuss the plan of attack for this section. We're talking about Q-learning and we've got quite a few tutorials, so I think it's a good idea for us to quickly go through them to understand what to expect in the upcoming videos. So here we go. All right, what we will learn in this section. First things first, we will talk about what reinforcement learning actually is and what the philosophy behind reinforcement learning is and how reinforcement learning actually can be seen in real life and how it relates to things that we observe in real life or actually things that we do ourselves. Then we'll talk about the Bellman equation, a very fundamental concept underpinning everything or a lot of things that are happening in reinforcement learning, especially in the space of Q-learning and what we're going to be discussing in this section of the course and in the following sections. Then we'll talk about the plan and the plan that an artificial intelligence comes up with in order to navigate inside an environment, and we'll see what how that comes together. A very quick but quite interesting tutorial. Then we'll talk about Markov decision processes, a new concept. We're going to introduce a very new concept which will slowly even add an extra layer of sophistication to our Bellman equation, to our whole reinforcement learning, to our Q-learning concepts. And that's the way this section is structured, that we introduce the Bellman equation in a very simplistic form, and then slowly throughout the tutorials we add layers of sophistication to it in order to get to the final version that is our designated destination in terms of Q-learning. But we'll get there slowly in order for us to have enough time to process all of the information and let it settle in. And Markov decision processes is an extra layer of sophistication on top of what we've already discussed or what we will have already discussed by then. Then we'll talk about policies versus plans. Another interesting tutorial. They're all interesting. Just another quick tutorial on how policies differ from plans and what the differences there are. And these are terms that you will probably hear or read in other literature if you're going to be delving into it to get additional information on reinforcement learning. Then we'll talk about adding a living penalty to our environments. And that's kind of another way of adding complexity into the environments that our agents are going to be operating in. Then we'll talk about the intuition behind Q-learning. So up until that tutorial, we're going to be talking values of states, and then finally we're going to switch to talking about values of actions or Q values. And then we're going to introduce the temporal difference. So this is the tutorial where everything that we've learned is going to come together to explain how exactly do agents or how does artificial intelligence learn? How does it update its values throughout the iterative process that it's going through? And then finally, we're going to look at a visualization of Q-learning. So we're going to take everything we learned and we're going to look at it happen in front of our eyes and watch an artificial intelligence actually perform Q-learning and do all of the things that we're going to discuss on an intuitive level is going to actually do in practice. And that will help us even further grasp that knowledge that we're going to be covering off in this section. So hopefully you're very excited about these upcoming tutorials. I definitely am, and there's some very interesting slides coming up, and more importantly, the concepts themselves are very, very interesting, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy them quite a lot. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, enjoy AI.